The 30 Years' War, conflict that ravaged Europe from 1618 to 1648, was not a single, cohesive war in the modern sense, but rather a series of interconnected conflicts fueled by religious tensions, dynastic rivalries, and the pursuit of political dominance. Its roots lay in the uneasy peace established by the Peace of Augsburg in 1555, which attempted to settle religious disputes between Lutherans and Catholics within the Holy Roman Empire by allowing each prince to choose the religion of his territory, the principle of cuius regio, ius religio, whose realm, his religion. However, this compromise proved fragile, as it excluded Calvinism, a rapidly growing Protestant denomination, and failed to address the broader issues of religious freedom and the power of the Habsburg emperors. The Holy Roman Empire was a patchwork of over 300 independent states, nominally united under an elected emperor, but in practice, largely governed by powerful princes who sought to maintain their autonomy. The Habsburgs, who ruled Austria and Spain, were staunch Catholics and determined to consolidate their power and enforce religious uniformity, while many Protestant princes feared their ambitions. The war's immediate trigger was the defenestration of Prague in 1618, when Protestant nobles threw 2 Catholic imperial officials out of a window of Prague Castle in protest against religious persecution. This act of defiance sparked a rebellion in Bohemia, which quickly escalated into a wider conflict as Protestant princes throughout the empire joined the uprising, forming the Protestant Union. The Catholic League, led by Maximilian I, Duke of Bavaria, and supported by Spain, responded by sending troops to suppress the rebellion, initiating the Bohemian phase 1618 to 1625 of the war. The Catholic forces, under the command of the brilliant General Albrecht von Wallenstein, decisively defeated the Protestant army at the Battle of White Mountain in 1620, crushing the Bohemian Rebellion and establishing Habsburg control over Bohemia. Following their victory, the Habsburgs embarked on a policy of counter-reformation, forcefully converting Protestants to Catholicism and suppressing Protestant worship. This aggressive policy alarmed other Protestant powers, particularly Denmark, whose King Christian IV intervened in 1625 to support the Protestant cause, initiating the Danish phase 1625 to 1629 of the war. However, Christian V's intervention proved unsuccessful, as Wallenstein's forces decisively defeated the Danish army in a series of battles, forcing Denmark to withdraw from the conflict with the Peace of Lübeck in 1629. The Edict of Restitution, 1629, issued by Emperor Ferdinand II, further escalated the conflict by ordering the restoration of all Catholic lands that had been secularized by Protestants since 1552, igniting widespread resentment and fear. This prompted Sweden's King Gustavus Adolphus, a brilliant military strategist and devout Protestant, to intervene in 1630, initiating the Swedish phase, 1635, of the War-Daughter War. Gustavus Adolphus' army, renowned for its innovative tactics and disciplined soldiers, achieved a series of stunning victories against the imperial forces, decisively shifting the balance of power in favor of the Protestants. He defeated Wallenstein at the Battle of Breitenfeld in 1631, and followed up with another victory at the Battle of Rhein in 1632, establishing Swedish dominance in northern Germany. However, Gustavus Adolphus was killed at the Battle of Lützen in 1632, a Pyrrhic victory that, although won, resulted in the death of the Swedish king. Despite his death, the Swedish army continued to fight, but the war began to evolve into a wider European conflict, with France, under Cardinal Richelieu, officially entering the war in 1635 on the Protestant side, despite being a Catholic nation. Richelieu's primary motivation was not religious, but political. He sought to weaken the Habsburgs and establish French dominance in Europe. The French phase, 1635 to 1648, of the war was characterized by a series of grueling campaigns and sieges, as French and Swedish armies fought against the imperial forces and their Spanish allies. The war was also marked by widespread devastation, famine, and disease, as armies ravaged the countryside, destroying crops and spreading epidemics. Civilian populations suffered immensely, as armies looted and pillaged towns and villages, and religious fanaticism fueled atrocities and violence. The war also saw the rise of mercenary armies, who were often poorly disciplined and motivated by profit rather than loyalty, exacerbating the brutality and destruction. Finally, in 1648, the war came to an end with the Peace of Westphalia, a series of treaties that redrew the map of Europe and established a new international order. The treaties recognized the independence of the Dutch Republic and the Swiss Confederation, and granted significant autonomy to the German states, effectively ending the Habsburgs' attempts to create a centralized empire. The Peace of Westphalia also established the principle of state sovereignty, recognizing the right of each state to govern itself without external interference, a cornerstone of modern international law. The treaties also addressed the religious issues that had fueled the war, reaffirming the principle of cuius regio, haeus religio ascendunt semerone devandis, but with some concessions to Calvinism. The 30 Years' War had a devastating impact on Europe, with an estimated 8 million casualties and widespread economic and social disruption. The war also marked the decline of the Habsburgs and the rise of new powers, such as France and Sweden, reshaping the European balance of power. The war's legacy includes the establishment of the modern state system, the principle of state sovereignty, and the recognition of religious tolerance, shaping the course of European history for centuries to come.